To most people, $250,000 sounds like a lot of money. But what do you think about this idea of caps?
I think it's a bad idea, a very bad idea. You know, $250,000 sounds like a lot of money, but it's not a great deal of money if you have a disability that's going to take you into the future or maybe the rest of your life. You know, what happens if you have $1 million worth of medical bills? What is $250,000 going to do? What if you lost your arm or a leg? $250,000 doesn't go very far. And, you know, the Republicans have traditionally had this hands-off approach in government to people's private lives and to business, except apparently for insurance companies. All of a sudden they've become very involved in tort reform and putting caps on claims to help insurance companies. Whatever happened to let's stay out of business? You know, and another thing, Grace, is for over 200 years we've trusted folks like this in the jury to give out jury awards and to hand out judgments, and they've done a very fine job of that. And there's no reason to change that now. There's no reason to change it. We don't need caps. These folks can be trusted with that, and they have been for over 200 years. And besides that, Judge, if they give out too much money to suit you, can you not reduce the amount of that award?
Which is true.
Yes, there you go. So there's one checks and balances right there, Grace. If the judge decides that they've given away too much money on an award, he can reduce it himself. And Judge, what happens if they give out an award and you don't reduce it? What can happen? Can't that case be appealed?
No, you court appeal.
And quite often they are. Quite often they are.
So very often we hear about these big awards, but that's not necessarily the end result in a case.
Precisely. Precisely. It's front page news when this big award comes out and a big jury verdict, but it never makes the news at all when the judge reduces the amount of the verdict or the award. It doesn't make the news at all if the case is appealed and later settled for a fraction. A fraction.
Frankly, in the media, we hear about all these outrageous lawsuits. Remember the lady who spilled the coffee in her lap? She gets something like $2 million. I mean, that seems like a lot of money.
Well, that would have been quite a bit of money. However, it was $600,000, and that was later reduced by the judge to less than $200,000. And by the way, that woman was severely burned by that coffee, severely burned. And will suffer for the rest of her life from the injuries and the burns and the scarring from that.
Now, let me take you back to something you said a minute ago. You used this expression, tort reform. For those of us who don't really know legal speak, what is a tort and how do we reform it?
Well, Grace, a tort, first of all, is when someone's negligence causes someone else an injury. The negligence of one person injures another person. That's generally speaking what a tort is.
Okay.
And there's all this ballyhoo right now about tort reform. That's all you hear about from politicians. The average everyday citizen is not concerned with tort reform.
Reforming means changing the law?
Changing the law. And the average citizen is not concerned with changing the tort laws. It seems to be the politicians. And the politicians are interested in it because the controlling party right now received 5 times more from the insurance company, the insurance industry, than did the other party. And tort reform has somehow moved to the forefront, even though it's not on anyone else's mind but the politicians' mind. Okay?
Who are there to look out for us?
Well, you would think. You would think that would be their job. However, they're not looking out for us in tort reform. If there needs to be reform, all right. It needs to be called insurance reform.
Okay, we have framed the debate, and in just a minute we're going to take questions from people around the city of Houston. Stay with us.